Tom Caltabiano here. Let's look at this. How is that looking? Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now we go back over to Instagram and we go live here. Yes. Okay. Now I'm doing it. Hello, everybody. Tom Caltabiano here. Everybody loves Raymond. ELR 360 live on a Sunday. How are you all today? We have all survived the holidays. I'm hoping. I'm assuming if you're watching, they can be very trying for people, as we know. Oh, let me pull this tea out. I have a tea infuser, as they call it. Let me pull that out and make sure that it's. Let's do this. Put that there. Clink that there. Here's my phone, so I can make sure that I don't miss any texts. All right. Hi, Karen in Chile, Plymouth. All right, let me bring you up. Here we go. Hello, Thomas Gerard. Thomas, are you in? I forget. Are you over there too, on that other side? Hello, everybody. Tom Caltabiano here. How am I sounding? Always seems to be a question. Oh, I'm getting a text from my British friend. Let's see. Watch this. This is called Doing Live. Okay. All right. So I have a British friend whose parents came over and brought me some chocolate, some biscuits, a whole bunch of different things, and they forgot them. So I met them for dinner. They invited me to dinner, and I met them for dinner, and I brought them everything that I had promised, which was bread and jam, special jam. And they said, "This is awesome, Tom. We brought all of the biscuits, all of the chocolates, everything is here from the UK, but we left it at our where we're staying." So they're going to try and meet with me today. Do I have a biscuit today? Let's see. I don't know what I have. Something in the canister. Wow, I almost dropped it. There we go. The canister. To be tried later. Right? Okay. All right. Hello, everybody. Let's catch up on these things. Hi, Annabelle. Yes, Annabelle. Freezing in central Connecticut. Connecticut is CT for those of you that aren't fluent with our abbreviations. Hi, Annabelle. I'm sorry to hear that. Hi, Tom from Chile, Plymouth. Yes. Hi, Michelle. Aloha. You know, Bob, as we get deeper into the winter, you should not post anything. You should leave the Hawaiian, Hawaiianese aside, because my guess is it's 82 and perfect there or somewhere abouts, and that fills people with a jealous rage. Hello, Mona. Hi, everybody. Hi. So let me answer. Hello, everybody. I got Tim Tams. Hi, Mona. I got Tim Tams in my supermarket. I got the chocolate series, the chocolate ones, and then I got the chocolate and caramel ones. That sounds beyond delicious. Okay, I'm going to check don't cover your devices, everybody. Let me see. Alexa, what's the temperature in London, England?
It's 32 degrees right now in London, with a high of 38 and a low of 26 today.
Oh, wow.
There's a 42% chance of snow showers developing later.
Okay. All right. So 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, a bit chilly, and then down to 26. So we are extremely brutal weather here, too. I think it didn't hit 60 degrees here today. Okay, so everybody is suffering through the winter. Now, here, I have a question for you guys, because we'll talk about the Christmas episodes. I hate when Christmas ends. I'm going to be honest. The whole spirit and the whole season seems so phenomenal, and then there's such a sad letdown after Christmas. For me, personally, I don't know if anybody else feels that, but it just feels like I don't know. It's
I totally get that.
Alexa's now in a conversation. Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. So that's funny. Alexa just heard what I was saying and is trying to make me feel better. Oh, that's funny. So yeah, all that buildup, all the worrying about buying gifts, or did you buy a gift, and should you buy people gifts, and etc., and then all the cheer and all the lights and all that stuff. So I know a lot of people, the stroke of midnight, the day after Christmas, they take down their Christmas tree and put everything away and cover it like it's a crime that never happened. And for me, I keep up now, and this is if you watched Everybody Loves Raymond, which is a TV show. I believe Nemo's had Christmas lights up all year round, and Rayo's, which if you look it up, is a very, very well-known, impossible to get a ticket to place in New York City, in Harlem, 114th Street, I want to say. And it's a little place with just a couple of tables. And at some point, it became this really popular place. And when I say at some point, I think there was a New York Times article, and this is when newspapers had power. More power than they do today, because thanks to this medium where I'm talking to you, a lot of the power is distributed. But I believe a food reviewer for the New York Times reviewed Rayo's, R-A-O apostrophe S, and from that point on, you could never get a table. And the way they do the tables there is almost like you own the table. You have the table. The table is yours for like every Monday night or something. You can go there and you can have a drink at the bar without sitting down and eating. So they also have Christmas lights up all year round, which I think is a very nice, warm touch. I posted the picture of Doris Roberts' house for her Christmas party, one of her Christmas parties where Doris is looking at the camera. And that was a very warm environment, especially with a Christmas tree up in that window. So I'm curious, who takes down their ornaments, their tree, stroke of midnight, Christmas, the day after Christmas, and who keeps them up longer than that? And what's the longest you've ever kept them in, do I want to say in circulation? No, that doesn't make sense, in circulation. All right, let me just adjust this one thing here. That's too much there. Okay, that is for my recording. Okay, let's catch up. How much, let's see, let's go back. Let's scroll back. Let's look at this here. I'm wearing my red Christmas sweater, everybody. Yes, Annabelle. Right, sorry, I may have already. Let me catch up. Let me go past this. Hello, everybody. Hello, Lynn in Toronto. Lynn in Toronto. It has to be cold there. Colder than London. I'm going to find out. Alexa, what's the temperature in Toronto, Canada?
It's 28 degrees.
Okay, 28 degrees. Not that much. Alexa, stop. So not that much. I hope I didn't set off 1,000 Alexas. Alexa devices. Sorry. Did it again. Yes. Let's see this. The cookie canister episode won her Emmys for that. Cookie canister. I don't know. I will have to go back and look to see what Patricia Heaton submitted. When you're asking about an Emmy, every actor submits an Emmy. The lead actor submits one episode. That's how it works. Okay, I have to reply this text because my British cookies. Let's see. Okay, I am live talking to the world's greatest fans. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Hi, everybody. Yes, Mona. They are beyond delicious. First time I've ever saw them. Oh, okay. Tim Tams. We're back to Tim Tams. First time you ever saw them. 7 degrees Fahrenheit in Montreal. Yes, that is very cold. Okay. I feel bad for people who are listening to this in a rebroadcast in the middle of the summer and going, okay, all right. So let's see. I'm happy to put the Holloway stuff away. Janet, you're happy to put it away. Okay. Why is that, Janet? Yeah, and you're not alone. I'm not making fun of you. I'm just curious. Marie, Nothing down until the 6th. Here, it's bad luck. Oh, where is it bad luck? I like that logic that I'm forced to do it. Hello, Tom. No holiday season complete without an ELR Christmas episode. Yes, we put together a binge list for you. Annabelle, I keep my trimmings through the feast of the Epiphany. Wow, that's a long time. Sorry, something else came across my screen. Let's see this. Hi, everybody. Yes, Rayos. So Rayos, yes, is spelled the same. Hi, Lynn Van Orden. Hi, Kristen. Now, Kristen, you were at the live filming, and do you remember? I think you posted about where you were seated. If I posted a picture of the audience, I did post a picture of the whole audience. I probably took close-ups of the audience, but I didn't post them. Those are very interesting to people who were there. But the people who were not there, it's less interesting, I would say. Less interesting, yes. Okay, but I hope I will do it, and I will post more pictures because, let's face it, some photos I post get, let's see, the most I ever got on a video was 4.5 million views. 4.5 million views is an awful lot of views. Okay. So let me see this. The picture of Doris' house were awesome. Yes, I love the show. Never miss a day of it. That's very nice, Renee. So there's a lot, as I said in my last Sunday, we had 30,000 followers here last Christmas. Now we have 70. I think we just hit 73,000 today. So for those of you that have been here for the whole time, I love it, and I apologize if there's information that you have already heard. But I'm always astounded when I put something up and somebody asks a question, and I love it when somebody asks a question because that means they're invested in the show. But I feel like sometimes I'm like, oh, I feel bad because I feel like I've already said that. But as I've said before, a lot of people don't. I take my tree down the day after Christmas. Okay. Chicago's my hometown. A famous pizza Italian restaurant called Vito and Nick's keeps Italian lights up all year. Looks like Christmas all year. Is it an Italian restaurant thing? Carol Nicholson. That is an excellent question. Let's see people chime in. Is that common? Let me hear if you have an Italian restaurant in your hometown, and do they keep their lights up? Like Rayo's and Nemo's. Okay. Hi, Annabelle. I kept an edifice tree up through April one year. Very lazy and no pine needles. Yeah. So that's the thing. If you have a real tree, you have to take it down because eventually it dries out. It's a fire hazard, and there are pine needles. Excellent point, Annabelle. I wasn't even thinking about that. That type of thing. All right. I want to talk a little about Doris's Christmas party. You did set off my Alexa interesting. Your Alexa has a U.S. accent. Sounds weird. Okay, Karen, you're calling my Alexa weird because of its American accent. That's funny because obviously I can pick a British accent, but I choose not to. But I could. Maybe I'll do that for the next time. Wow. Okay, Deb, always a lot. Here we go. Love your questions. Tom, great photos of Doris Carr's Christmas parties I posted. When I worked for my school district years ago, pull up a chair, everybody. Here we go. Before I retired, thanks for teaching, I planned holiday parties in a restaurant with colleagues. Everyone brought a gift. We passed it around with Christmas music. We sang, and with singing, you got the gift. I also had parties at my house and before the bus trips to Radio City. Okay, I thought we go to Tavern on the Green and Carmine's. Did that for 7 years. Carmine's is a restaurant where we had the DVD launch party for Everest Raymond, by the way. Deb, sorry, I raced through your thing. I thought there was a questionnaire for everybody else, but don't forget, when I post these, all of your questions and comments are able, you guys can all go back and read these other comments. The Christmas episode where Robert comes in and tells Raymond we usually hang ours on the door. Yes, so that was a Steve Scrovan script, and that was a line that I actually came up with, and every writer was able to come up with different lines. The easiest thing to do is to read a 40-page script and have zero work to do on that 40-page script, but have something funny pop in your head and be like, hey, what about this line? And then you take credit. Actually, it's uncouth to take credit. Generally, you didn't take credit. But yes, we usually hang ours on the door. Steve Scrovan, All I Want for Christmas, season 2. And I have, next time Steve Scrovan is here, and I think we'll have to ask him about that episode because I think he has only visited once, and we're going to have him back again as soon as possible. All right, Camille. Hi, I'm loving these answers, by the way. When you feel you're alone in the world and you're like, I'm the only one that does that. And then with the advent of the internet, you can find out like, oh, there's 2.3 million people who do the same thing I do. Because let's face it, people, judging and beating yourself up is more the norm in human behavior. All right, Camille, usually January 7th, I took real Christmas tree and decor all down yesterday, being weekend could take my time. Yes, Camille, excellent logic. Because it's the weekend, you can take your time. Okay, let's catch up here. Hi, Deb. You mentioned you got a wind-up emergency radio last year. What was the most unusual or funny gift you saw someone ever receive? So at the Doris Roberts Christmas party, that monkey, that I posted a picture of that steel weird monkey. That was a pretty funny one. That was a bizarre one because you're like, oh, I don't know really what to do. Santas come down right away. What is that? The creche stays up until January 6th. Snowmen stay up through end of January. I hope I just didn't embarrass myself. Hi, Lynn. There is one home I've seen that keeps their tree up all year round and changes decorations for each special event of the year. Not mine. In parentheses, you're distancing yourself from that. My husband, hi Janet. My husband loves having all the Christmas stuff all over the house. I just like getting the tree and pine needles out when it's time. So Janet, do you keep it there for a while, or does it disappear? Hello, Gil. I was at Disneyland Orlando last year. The trees and decorations were up until January 6th. Yeah, here obviously there's no hard and fast rules. If you're working and you have no time and you don't take it down over the weekend, then it has to probably live for another week. And it shouldn't be this horrific chore that you're hating, etc. So, okay, let's see. I love the picture of the party at Doris Roberts. The home was beautiful, yet so appeared welcoming. Doris seems a welcome person to me. Yes, it was a very, very good time. So let me talk a little bit about that. Doris Roberts' Christmas party, and I saw someone wrote, it looks just like my parties, only it's not filled with millionaires. Half of those people, I would say over half of the people at the Doris Roberts Christmas parties are normal people like you and me. The cast made a lot of money, and it's even, I hate talking about money in the show, but when you're on a hit show, just like you're on a championship baseball team, let's say, the money goes up because if you are really good and the show has high ratings, you might be making a lot of money, but the network is making billions of dollars, et cetera. But a lot of the crew was there who worked there who are not millionaires. So, how did the wardrobe department manage the physical comedy given the bra? Yes. So Deb, so I'm curious who is new since last Christmas. 40,000 people, and again. The percentage that watches me every Sunday is not the percentage that looks at the photos. So a lot of people have those photos. So, sorry, a lot of people don't hear me explaining something. They just have the photos to go by. I will answer that, Deb. Yes, house beautiful. Okay, so. Yes, catching up. Wow, catching up. Okay, let me try and catch up here. Here we go. No, we put it all away. Okay. Tom, the show has so many holiday seasons, special Christmas. Were there ever any discussions in the writer's room to create an episode specifically for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day? And why did whoever decided to skip that holiday apologize typing fast here? Yes, never apologize for spelling errors. I have spelling errors all the time. Okay, so Donnell, I will answer that question, Deb. I keep my decorations up until the feast. Yes, okay, January 6th. Okay, Annabelle just said that, right? I'm not judging. I just want to make sure I'm not going crazy. Okay, let me just turn this down a little bit. Turn that up a little bit. Okay. Well, yes, which is the wise men visited and marks the official end of the Christmas season, 12th day of Christmas. It's bad luck to keep them up. Oh, after the Epiphany. Okay, according to some traditions. Okay. Now I'm educated. All right. So back to Deb Tucker's question. Thank you, Donnell. So New Year's Eve show that has come up a lot. I remember we were writing Ray Home Alone over the holiday. Ray, Tucker, Cawley, and I were in the Warner Brothers studio where the writer's room was. And I remember it was so bleak because it's the week before Christmas and New Year's and you're sitting there writing. There's a couple reasons. One, so somebody in the writer's room has to come up with an idea. So somebody has to go, hey, Phil, I have a great idea for a New Year's Eve show. Now, if that was the case, then I'm sure Phil would have done it. You know, and the reason I'm thinking there's another factor. So when Eric Pankowski was on talking about the reunion show, he was saying, oh, it was during Sweeps Week. So the network back in the day, again, everything has changed. Everything. So now when you stream it and you watch it, it's so not network TV. You guys suddenly were thrust back to like 1995 because the reunion special initially was just on CBS, network TV as we call it. So the people in the UK, I don't think saw it when it came out initially. But that's what you did. You had to wait on your TV. It came on. You had to watch the commercials, etc. So the networks back then were worried about getting ratings at certain times. So they would burn off shows that they didn't care about the ratings during the holidays because nobody was watching. There was a point where you go, okay, and I forget what the last week is, but the week of Thanksgiving, I think people are watching TV. Over the summer, they would, if you ever heard like a show that was terrible, but they shot it anyway, so they just air it over the summer. And every once in a while, those type of things would take off and it would suddenly be a hit, but they didn't care about the ratings. So New Year's Eve, Everybody's Raymond show, more than likely, it was not on the network's radar. So unlike the network saying, hey, Phil, Ray, you guys really have to do a Christmas episode this year because it's a big ratings time. And if Phil said, I'm not going to do a Christmas episode. I think I'll do Arbor Day. Can we do an Arbor Day episode? And CBS would say, hey, that's really great. We're talking to other people to run your show because that's a bad idea. So that's one of the reasons why there was no New Year's Eve show. And probably the main reason there was no push to do a Christmas show, to do a New Year's Eve show versus doing a Christmas show. So, but next time Phil's on here, I'll ask him, and you guys can ask him, if there was ever pressure to do any holiday show besides Christmas. So Thanksgiving is a big one, obviously, and we tried to do it every year. You guys would know better than me. I can't remember if we missed a Thanksgiving episode or not. But that's why. There you go, Deb. That is the answer why Everybody's Raymond didn't do a New Year's Eve episode. Okay, let's bring some more questions up. Oh, I've completely neglected Instagram. Let's scroll back up to Instagram. Let's pull that down here. Oh, wow. I'm so close on Instagram. This is frightening. Oh, yes. I have to figure that out when you're broadcasting from the same program. Ciao from Cleveland. Hi, Suzanne Fortunato. Watching ELR right now. Hi from Lockport, New York. Okay. Hi from Alberta, Canada. Yes, let me catch up. Yes. Catching up. Okay. I keep my tree up through the end of January. Winter is dreary in Philadelphia. Okay, Jody, I will visit you there then if I'm feeling down. Canada uses Celsius. Yes. Let's see this. Scrolling down. Do you miss making ELR episodes? You guys all seem so close, even after 20 years after the finale. Yes. The nativity scene, yes. Yes, do I miss... So I miss making the episodes 100%. When you're working on a show... Here, let me get over here to look at that. When you work on a hit show and most people... When I say most people get along, like... There's 130 people, so let's say that I get along with everybody, but you are closest to the writers of Eros Raymond. So when we get together for dinners, it's just like getting a band back together, and it's also under the best circumstances. When you work on a show that bombs and doesn't do well in the ratings and ended poorly, it's not so much, hey, let's get together and celebrate this, thing, although sometimes it can be a bonding moment. So... all right, let me just see. Do I go over here? Yes, I can move back more. I guess I can move back more. But I'm on a platform. Yeah. How far can I go back? So yes, 100% miss making the episodes. So the one thing that if you're not in the industry, when you're a writer of a movie, you might be 4 years before, if at all it gets made, before you see your words in a movie. I remember a friend of mine who I write for, who's an actor, she asked for a line, and she was in Thailand. She said, hey, do you have a funny line for this? And so I said, well, yeah, when do you need it by? Okay, sent them, never thought about it again. Watching the movie, maybe 2 years later, and I'm like, oh, that is my line in that movie. So that's 2 years. When you write on a TV show, you write it, you rehearse it, and you watch it in front of the live audience. And there's nothing more rewarding than that, to see your words in front of the live audience. Okay, let's go back to Instagram. Let's catch up on Instagram. Can you believe my family rolls in the night of the part 2 reunion show? Where can I watch it? Oh, okay, Lori. So you missed part 2. Is what you're saying. I think you can see it on Paramount. By the way, I think all last year I was fighting, thanks to Gil, who recommended Manuka honey. Hold on. Yes. That helped me, but I didn't think to do any honey today. Zony Pony 54. Tom, I wonder, is there any video of Doris Roberts' Christmas party? That might be interesting to see some clips of that. No, zero. So the one that took, again, I think you guys have been watching me since the beginning. You know that I'm not, what do I want to say? I'm not a bragger or a big ego, I guess. I don't know. But I did take all the photos, and I feel bad when I do write. I took this photo because a lot of times I see the photos get taken and put it on their site, and then people are like, well, whoever took this photo, and it's like, that's why sometimes when I'm writing, I'm like, oh, I hate to have to write this again, but I'm pretty much the one that took almost every photo behind the scenes. So you have to remember also, the show ended in 2005. The iPhone came out in 2007. So now there's 550 pictures of every single event ever taking place. Back then, I had to have, do I have a film? I had a film camera handy. Let's see, what is this camera? This is not a film camera. But, my camera was this. This is a smaller version of my camera. Where's my big camera? It's not within reach, and I don't want to leave the frame. But usually I would have, I'd have this lens on this camera, on a camera like this, etc. The point I'm making is, that's going to fall. The point I'm making is, it's obnoxious to walk around with a camera, and the low light capability, which allowed you to shoot at candlelight in a party, wasn't like it is now with an iPhone. You take it for granted. If we had that technology back then, first of all, I would have no Polaroids snapped to stapled, taped to the pages, because they would just be taking it digitally, etc. So I was the one that took photos, and if back then, there's a balance between annoying people and documenting. I'm glad I annoyed people. You guys are probably glad that I annoyed people by having so many photos of the show. And again, we've only scratched the surface of my photos. I have to figure out how to scan the 27,000 unscanned photos. Because even for me, I come across them, I go, wow, that's a great photo that I forgot that I took. So, yeah, I can say with pretty good confidence there is no video of those Christmas parties. And you can see how much laughter there was. It would be great. It would be great to see it. I videotaped Ray the final speech of the series, and I have a ton more video that I have to, but I will share it. But I promise if I come across it or somebody has video of one of her parties, I will share it with you. Whoops, do that. Excellent question, though. Yes, your family. You should disown your family for making you miss that show. Let's see this. Hi, Alfred. Yes, hi. Okay, we're caught up there. Now let's go back to this here. Okay, so let's see. Part 1, 2, Part 2, CBS.com in the special section. Thank you, Gil. Heading to Long Island for the exhibit. Anyone want to join me? I'll be going this week or this month or next month. That's a wide time thing. Yeah. So for anybody that's missed it, it has only been up for a short time. Limehoff, the Long Island Museum of Music and Entertainment Hall of Fame, has the Everybody Loves Raymond set. And I just remember that I filmed Eric Pankowski giving us a little tour of the set on show day. So for anybody, Stony Brook, New York, if you want to sit on the set that was used in the reunion special, you go ahead and sit right there. Okay. Hi, Deb. My dentist keeps up the Christmas tree all year long. He changes it for all the other holidays, and it also looks wonderful. People stop just to see the great work the ladies do decorating for every holiday, especially the tree. Okay. Awesome. See, there you go. You can. Let's see. Let's see this. Okay. Sorry, if I'm screening, it's because it's too much to read through. Okay, Carol. You're a treasure, Tom. Oh, I'm glad I clicked on that. And I'm so grateful for all the pictures you took and backstory you offer. I'm not famous, but I love seeing and hearing the inside scoop. I was on yearbook through high school and veterinary school, not undergrad. I took pictures in vet school, did my own darkroom work. This is really impressive. Some folks did not like the camera, but I bet they like seeing the pictures of the younger selves now. Yeah, so when I would be, that's exactly right. Congratulations on doing that. In the moment, when you take time, and the one thing that I'm glad about that I was a giant pain is, and I think I've mentioned this before, no one's ever seen them. When they broke down the Everybody Loves Raymond set at the end of the series, we were on stage 5 from season 2 through 9. The set never went away. Ray and Deborah's living room, etc., was pretty much there. They had to disassemble it for the final time. And I went to the stage. They started at midnight, and I took a time-lapse series with panoramic Ilford black and white 3200 film of the disassembly of the Everybody Loves Raymond set. And so that, I think I left at 4 a.m. and I was brutally tired, but I thought, you know what, someday, this is before Facebook, Instagram, before I could talk to people everywhere, was invented. So I'm really, really glad that I did that. And yeah, I've heard from a psychiatrist who said, you take pictures of what you love if you're inclined to take pictures. I think I told you Ray was doing a series and I made every single episode except for the last one. I go, Ray, take some photos. Take a photo of the set. He's like, okay, sure. And he didn't. So, because it's kind of not on his radar. All right, Ken Ornstein, why are you bothering me? You have to come back. Hi, Tom. Ken Ornstein here. I never thought your Shutterbug presence was annoying. It was your attempt to throw batters out at first base from the outfield was. Yeah. So, Ken worked on the show Everybody Loves Raymond. And Ken, at the reunion, I was so busy taking pictures, I saw almost nobody. So all of the people that worked on the show were backstage, but I was on stage for almost the entire time. And what Ken is referring to is because Ken, I forget, did you play second? Did you play first base? So what Ken is talking about is we had a softball team called Everybody Loves Raymond, and Ray Romano played. Ray and I became really closer friends playing for the Improv in New York City before Raymond was famous. But even after he was famous, he played on the softball team, as did Ken. And so we've spoken with Ken here once before. Ken, we have a studio that you're going to have to visit, and we're going to sit for a long time. So you probably shouldn't have chimed in. And what Ken is talking about is I would play the outfield, and I had a very good arm, and I would try and throw people out at first base if they hit a hard ball on the ground to me in left field, which it's not the smartest baseball move, but, nonetheless. All right, Ken, you've been publicly notified that you have to show up. Tom, what inspired you to start posting these specific Christmas party pictures after all these years? I've posted them before. I just haven't posted as many of them before as this time. And also, how do we do this? How do we talk about this boring subject of frequency of posting? So if you post, I have so many photos, and a challenge for people who are trying to build a social media presence is how do you post consistently? I can post, I think I figured it out, if I post one photo a day, it will take me 80 years to post all my photos. So I figured, let me just post as many as I can. Now, I also have to put my little watermark on it. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't, because invariably my photos are put on other sites, which I don't mind at all if they give credit or mention where they got it. But a lot of times they edit that out. So I have to go back and export them with my it's a logo, but it's a watermark. And one of the photos that annoys me is that Ray's parents, I took a picture of Ray with his parents in his living room in Queens, New York. And that one, a lot of people have taken and reposted it. And so there you go. Hi, Annabelle. You posted the photo of the bar area at Doris' house in the past, and I would love if you can post that again. Yes, Annabelle, I actually have, let me see. I'm going to run through these. I'm going to post a lot of these. But a lot of people commented. They said, it's so unfortunate. Why wouldn't Brad Garrett go to any of these Christmas parties? Brad Garrett did go to the Christmas parties. You just didn't see the photos that I posted. Okay, so let's see if we have any trouble here. No, I don't. So here is, I must have been right up on him. There is Brad talking to Peter Boyle in Doris Roberts' bar. Okay. I don't know what they're talking about. I'm a little bit too close for them. Let's see. Here, I will post this also with my water. Here is Cindy Shupak holding the painting of Doris Roberts that Frank takes out, but the camera cuts away. And that is writer Lou Schneider, who you know as Snaps, sitting there watching. Okay, so that's Doris's bar. And Doris's bar in the background, let me zoom in. Yeah, it's a lot to ask, but that's her with James Coco, who was her friend, etc. And I know, Doris, her son, so I believe her first husband was Italian, so I'm sure they celebrated Christmas a lot. And then I think her second husband, I don't know if he was Italian or second husband, he was a poet. There you go. There's the lovely Angelina, Tina Arning, Steve Scrovan, and his wife. You can only see his wife talking to Raymond in the bar area of Doris's house. So let's see this. Have you seen this one? And here you go. Here's a wide shot. Let me see. With Lou Schneider's wife looking up at me. So that's a bright flash, which I hate. And again, nowadays, if that party happened, I wouldn't need a flash, and it would come out perfectly. But in those days, and nothing kills a mood better. Here, let me see if I can stabilize this. There we go. I will point out everybody that's in there. Here's Doris's. Now, there's Randy Suhr and his wife. You can't really tell, but they're there. That was the beginning of the evening. People would grab food and a place to sit. There's Ray's wife. I can't tell. That's Randy Suhr, first AD, who also directed the sculpture episode, I want to say. So Doris's bar was filled with Emmys. And it was not a big bar. So eventually, and maybe I have a picture of the Emmys, but they were on a shelf. But she was going to run out of room for sure. Okay, so there you go. Doris Roberts' Christmas party happened every year. Just a pure joy. You can see all the laughter. There's no pressure. The show has a hiatus coming up. It was phenomenal. Doris was delightful. There was, it was just great. It was great. What can I say? It was very enjoyable. And dovetailing back into that first question, do you miss writing on the show? Yes, because it was the best of situations where you had a showrunner who was super democratic, and whatever the funniest thing was got in, and then you had Raymond, and you had everybody else who was very nice. Okay, let me scroll down here and catch this. Yes. So Ken, you played third base. So Scro was short. I don't want to do a Abbott and Costello routine, but you were at third base. Scro was at short until he needed a hip replacement at a very young age. Let's see this. Okay. Okay, Lynn Van Orden, look at this. I don't know if Ken is still here, but I'll read this out loud. Ken, please come visit us. We would be honored. Maybe. We'll see how it goes. Hi, Carol Nicholson. Okay, that's me summarizing. Why did the fork and spoon change sizes? That was a question for that. We can ask Donna Stamps. Hopefully Donna Stamps can come join us. But I think they didn't. I think they rented the fork and spoon, and season one it was enormous for season one for the ball, and then it became the normal, quote unquote, normal size, and then they switched sides on it. So that was, there's 130 people in the show, and if there's a joke that you don't like in the show, that's the Raymond writer's responsibility. If you're watching it going, no, that's not funny. And so the set dressing, everybody was outstanding on the show. When we did drop the ball, that's when you go, oh, we made that mistake, which the writers made a couple of mistakes, but that's what it was. And sometimes it's just availability. Once you're a hit show, then you can do whatever you want with the set. If you're not a hit show, for example, we were on a different soundstage season one, and then it moved to another soundstage. But once there's a little bit more budget for Donna and everybody to work with, it makes it easier to have stuff that's dedicated. Okay. So, okay. So, Carol, just going back to that question also, so Frank and Marie's kitchen was disassembled all the time. So that was not a permanent set. The only permanent set was Ray and Deborah's living room. So that was constantly up and down, up and down, up and down. So whether they needed that or not. So it didn't remain up. Frank and Marie's set did not remain up week by week even. So it wasn't just sitting there all year round and someone decided to take it at some point. And then Frank and Marie's also moved, when we moved season one to another set, that explains it all. Okay, I hope that clarifies a little bit of that. Have you or can you share the photos of the set being dismantled? I can. I have not able to do it yet. I think, because those photos, those photos will be taken. So I have I want to do a documentary, a very much Ken Burns style documentary using my photos and kind of tell the story with my photos because I have so many photos. And there's some photos that I'd rather not share right now because even no matter what happens, your photos will be taken. And so, and it's weird because, and let me just say this for anybody following, Ray Romano does not have any social media. He does not have a Facebook page. So there's a page that says the official Facebook page of Ray Romano. That does not exist. That is an imposter, not Ray Romano. So, and I know it's weird. And now with AI, here, I'll do a little side. You guys now, we're entering into this next year where you are not going to be able to tell what if somebody's saying something that's real. And it's very, very scary time as far as, forget politics or anything like that. It's just you're watching this. And then I see people, there's a thing that just got posted about, Jimmy Page got into a fight on The View. He was never on The View. And people are like, and there's all these comments. And it's like people post these realistic photos. And they're going to get more and more realistic. And the videos are going to get more realistic. So you're going to hear things that were never said by famous people. It's a very interesting time we're coming up on. So playing into that, Ray does not have social media. There is somebody with Ray's official. He does not. And I posted this video. I made a video with Raymond and Phil Rosenthal. We were having lunch and I go, hey, Ray, can you just post? And of course, he has no problem with it. He's not on social media, so he doesn't know how rampant it is. But I kept saying in the video, he has no social media. He has no this. And I got a lot of comments like, okay, we get it. He doesn't have social media. But yes, you get it. But so many people are like, hey, I sent Ray Romano some money because he said that, blah, blah, blah. There's a VIP. So I'm just doing that little diatribe just to reassure you that the official looking Ray Romano Facebook page is a phony baloney. Yes, but that is, I will, let me see, can I find them that quickly? I don't think I can find the disassembly time-lapse photos. I know I have a poignant one. I have a couple of poignant ones, but I took the time-lapse photos, and then Ray and I were driving to lunch on the Warner Brothers lot, and the stage door was open. Stage 5 door was open. So Ray and I wander on, and I have my panoramic film camera, which I always have. I always have cameras on me. And the picture is so profound because it's Raymond and he's looking at a dry erase board, and on the dry erase board is the name of every actor and the character they play. So Ray Romano plays Ray Barone, and you see it all the way down the line. Okay, so Ray's looking at that, but behind him on this stage, which was so filled with life, is nothing. It is a complete empty, open space. And Ray has this look on his face like, it did happen, right? Like we did do a show here once. That's a photo that if I post that photo, that will instantly be everywhere. And I would like to do that documentary and tell that story because I know a lot of you watched the reunion show 1 and 2. The thing about the reunion shows, the network didn't know that it was going to do that well. They knew it was going to do well enough to cut a check to make it, so for credit. But the fact that 6 million people watched it, and now there are shows that get 1 million views and they stay on the air because they have 1 million views. The fact that it was such a juggernaut that they repeated it 4 days later and that they made a part 2 tells you how much there is an interest in the show and nostalgia and also the feel-good feelings of a show like Everly Raymond. So, all right, I've neglected all of the questions because I was going to talk, do I have a pending question that I didn't get to? Did the photos remind you of any particular episode where the cast had a similar dynamic? Did the photos, you mean of the Christmas party? I mean, it's so interesting because we talked about with Eric Pankowski about this whole, that you guys told me about, that the theory was that Monica Horan, Amy, snubbed Patricia Heaton when she came out. She completely hugged her, gave her an enormous hug. You just didn't see it on camera. So people who aren't in the know are like, aha, she snubbed her. They hate each other. And how dare she? This is what. So we're starting with an untruth, and it just keeps flying less and less true. So the cast all got along extremely well. There is not one cast member who didn't get along well. So all of the laughs, if you're talking about that Christmas party, all of the laughs, and a lot of people, and Ray told me this too, a lot of people are looking at, there's Doris's face. And in that moment, Doris is not smiling. Well, if you've ever lectured a college class or spoken to any group of people, the normal face, the normal default face, and if you go into show business and you're interviewed, you learn to do this. You have an artificial smile. Like you're going to start on camera and you have to go, okay. So that feels phony, right? But when you're on camera and you just have your normal listening face, which if you are a normal human being, it's not, look how engaged and smiley and happy you seem. You have this a face where you're just listening, and a listening face is not always this super happy looking face. So when people are looking at those Doris Roberts and they're like, she's not happy about it, it's like, no, she's just watching the action and not laughing at that moment. And what Ray told me, he said, look, when you're famous, once you become famous, and I may have mentioned this before, we were doing a road trip, a comedy road tour on, let me take a sip. Let me take a sip from what am I drinking? Do I have, oh yeah, okay. So there we go. Folks, thank you all for all of, these things flew off the, what do they say it? Off the shelves. Okay, let me do that. Drinking some tea. Wow, look how fast time is going. We were doing a road tour, and I said, Ray, let's stop and see my friend. We're going to, I don't like to name drop, but we were going to Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel, for those of you that are in the UK, it is a very country, southern themed restaurant. And it is phenomenally nice to go there, especially if you like southern cooking, let's say. Now, the people from the South, from Mississippi, might slap their head and go, Tom, you're from New Jersey, and you're saying Cracker Barrel. So I can't get into that, but it's not a fancy schmancy restaurant. That's what I'm trying to say. So I said to Ray, let's stop. Let me invite my friend Mike, who who you've met before you were famous. He came to the Comedy Cellar. He's a guy that I've known since we're 6 years old. And Ray was like, okay, here's what happens when you become famous. People are looking at you all the time, like all the time. They just are. And he knows, because at one point he wasn't famous and he saw famous people. And you're like, oh my gosh, there's that famous person. So he wasn't leaning back and going, let me tell you about but he was saying, you can't relax. Just like the Doris Roberts Christmas party, where you guys look at the photo, you go, Doris is not happy at all about the festivities, which is a natural thing to do. You're reading someone's face. So Ray is like, you can't really relax because you know that, like it or not, people are staring at you. Is he complaining? No, he's just giving, this is the life. This is the famous life. Okay, let me go back to this before we can. Are you able to post clips? Okay, catching up, watching Robert on the exercise machine now. Marie thinks that's a sex machine. Yes, not so fast, I believe. Yes, Lynn, you would love to have seen the bar. Yeah, a lot of my pauses are because words are left out. I'm not judging, but that's why I seem like a slow reader. Let's see this. Doris had her house was large. Tom, you mentioned you are friends with an actress who played the Cookie Lady on ELR. She was great when she was on an episode of Monk. Yeah, Amy Aquino is phenomenal. Phenomenal, and she's done a ton of stuff. And by the way, let me just talk about the specials real quickly because I feel like I've barely covered the Christmas episodes. We'll do that. We will do that though. Everyone's Raymond 30-year reunion, part 1 and part 2. A lot of people are like, "Where's Amy Aquino? Where's Fred Stoller?" There's just only so much time. So everybody that was offered to be interviewed, they couldn't make it. Like Tom McGowan couldn't make it for some reason. Maggie Wheeler couldn't make it for a specific reason. They wanted to interview them, but they couldn't. And then they just run out of time. So you saw how much extra footage was there to make a whole nother hour for part 2, right? So even that stuff, when you watch part 1, you're like, why wasn't Johnny in it? Okay, now he was in it. So I don't know, David Preval was probably offered to come out, and maybe he couldn't come out for what other reason. Fred Stoller, I don't know if they interviewed him. He's great. He was there at the end of the thing, but there's a point where you're also up against budget and time. So if you can't fit in, if Eric, the executive producer, has to go, okay, that's going to be a 12-hour day. That gets into union. Now we're in the union overtime rule. So now we just are costing us $25,000 more if we hear from Bob Odenkirk and Fred Stoller. So we're not going to hear from them. I have to make that decision. So there's a lot of, the nostalgia and the love for the show. I know we want to hear everybody. But that's one of the reasons. Was Doris a cook and baker in real life like she was on TV, or did she have hired help? I love that. So, cater. I think we called catered. You're correct. It's hired help, but that sounds so. Can the help get the food for us? Generally, and I would advise this, if you're having 30 people to your house and you're also cooking, you're not going to socialize at all. And so it was catered, 100% catered. I don't know if Doris was a good cook or not. But the party itself, let me give you a little Hollywood inside Hollywood. I did go to a Christmas party with somebody, and they're an actress who's well known, and they made the food. But it was all their close friends, and it was 12 people. And so that's a doable thing, where you put it out buffet style. But for the most part, people cater their parties. And it's not a judgment. It's actually, if Doris made all the food for 30 people, you would be in the kitchen all day going, Doris, you going to come to your party at all or no? Okay, so let's go. Let's keep going with questions. Here we go. Let's see. Did cast members like Peter Boyle and Doris Roberts ever share their real Christmas tradition inspired a plot point in the episode? No. So, it always sounds so cold when I say this, but I don't think any, we never got a story idea from the cast. Could the cast, I've touched upon this, could the cast have gone to Phil? Could Brad Garrett have said, we're acknowledging that these are all incredibly talented, funny people, but the way it worked on the show, you as the writer would have to come in with that show idea. So if Brad Garrett came in and said, my mother made an abstract sculpture and it looks like a certain female part, and I think then it would be like, okay, that's a story. Let's do that story. But that didn't happen to Brad. That happened to Jen Crittenden. Writer. So no, there were and again, when I say no, it sounds so cold, like, nope, they weren't allowed, but that's not the case. The workflow wasn't like that. But I'm sure, again, if Doris Roberts is like, hey, Phil, this funny thing happened to me, Phil would be like, oh, that's very funny. Let's put it in the show. Tom, when did you realize ELR was a hit? A hit season 2. It felt like it was going to be around. By season 2. Season 1, it was almost canceled. And then at the end of season 1, the ratings were really good. And then it kept going. Amy Aquino also did an episode of Ghost Whisperer. Jennifer Love Hewitt and Phil appeared in a movie together. Jennifer Love Hewitt and Phil Rosenthal appeared in music together. Thanks, Tom. That totally explains why pieces of set were altered. I always look to see if the bagels are there and how many. Yes. Great. It's funny because being there, I know the reason, because you, Carol, are correct. Why would they possibly change? Why, it's just sitting there. Why did somebody sneak into the set and put it down somehow? Okay, let's see what we got here. Was the food during dinners and holiday series made by craft services, or did cast and crew make some of the dishes to make it like your real ELR parties. Hi, Tabitha. Let me put this here. Let me see what you're asking now. Was the food during the dinners and holiday scenes made by craft service? Okay, so all the food that was eaten by the cast was sourced by the props department. Craft services made all the food that we, who worked on the show, ate. So nothing on the. It would be nice, and I know we have Maria as the great cook, etc. But it's too, it's too professional an operation for Doris Roberts to go, hey, I'm going to make a dish for this scene. It wouldn't work that way. It just wouldn't. She could make something and bring it to craft services, but on camera, the props department has to have multiple identical chocolate cakes. And those multiple identical chocolate cakes cannot fail. Otherwise, you in 20 years go, did you notice that the cake, they switch cakes or something? So yeah, it's a great thought that the cast is making stuff and bringing it in, but it's just professionally, it just doesn't, the workflow wouldn't really work. Excellent question though. Yes, AI. Okay. Now we're back to I'm catching up now. Let me see. Yeah, Ellen. So whoever writes Masquerading as Ray is all over the place. Yeah, I don't know. And it's very, it's very annoying. So you can't block. It's so weird because I have all these friends who their Facebook page gets hacked and they lose their page and they can't get it back and it takes them whatever. But at the same time, you have all these people, doing masquerading as celebrities. So, hi, Kim Brazier. You're trying to watch on YouTube, but it keeps glitching. I think that's on your end. Hi, Tom. However you say your last name, you pronounce it so fast. Caltabiano. Yes. Hi, Deb. The mudslide. Yeah. So at my house, so you see mudslides. Here's what happens in LA, everybody. It doesn't rain. Like I think 2 years ago or the year before, I remember I was talking to you guys maybe in January or November, whatever. And I said, here's when it rained last, May. So for you guys, in the normal world, you might go, wow, it hasn't rained in 6 days. We've had 6 days of sunshine. So for us, sometimes 7 months without a drop of rain. And the ground, very often, it dries out. And then we get torrential rain, like 3 inches at a time, and it finds its way into cracks in the dirt. And then you have a mudslide. Also, after there's a fire, there's no vegetation, etc. But yeah, so I did my neighbor's yard slid into my yard. We're still waiting to see what happens because I now have my neighbor's yard in my yard. Was Ray's kitchen also permanent? That touches on my question of how did they change sets? So many different rooms in Ray's house, Robert's 3 apartments, parents' houses. How did they change sets? Did the audience watch? How long to tape an episode? Okay, Lynn, a lot there. We have to talk about Christmas. We're having the time of our life here. Okay, so real succinctly, Ray and Deborah's kitchen were the only one. Everything else is called a swing set. A swing set is built for that episode. So the line producer would find out from Phil, oh, we're going to crash a car through the house. That's a big one. We're going to play golf, okay. They get it. If it's a big set change, they have to get it, weeks in advance to figure that out. And that's what they do. They build the set for that week. So you come in for the Monday morning table read and you're like, oh my gosh, there's a golf course on our set. And so the set dressing, set designers, the art department, they pull that off. And it was a miracle to watch because you forget about it because you wrote that episode and now all of a sudden you're like, oh, here's that set come to life. So that's how they did it. So all of those sets, swing sets go away. So when you're filming, for example, when you're filming on show night, sometimes you would hear noise and the first AD would go, hold the work, please. They're already breaking down. So Robert goes to, or there's an airport scene where Ray flicks his ring into the grate in the hotel. Once we're done shooting that scene, they don't need that set anymore. So the grip department, everybody is over there, and they're like, let's break that down. They're trying to get their work done while we're filming the show. That's why if you ever went to a filming of a show and that happened, they would tear it down. So it was a miracle, but that's how they did it. All the apartments, everything that they could was built on the stage. The audience, when the audience showed up for the filming, everything already was set. So they would watch the 4-hour or so filming. So there you go. Okay, let's see this. Great on Bosch, Amy Aquino, yes. Deb, 2 million viewers for part 2 of the reunion. Yeah. So I think, which is very good. I think we beat everything but Monday Night Football. We beat a Christmas special from Christina Aguilera. I saw Raymond and Phil on Christmas Eve, and Phil was telling me that. And then also a Saturday Night Live Christmas special. The problem with part 2 is a lot of people thought it was just a repeat again. So that's why we made that little quick video again. Let me see this. Hi. Yes, trying to figure out some technical problems. Okay, let's see this. I love hearing you use that phrase. My dad used the phrase fancy schmancy ever so often. I wonder if that was a northeastern New York expression describes feeling about some situations very well. Ellen, are you from the Northeast? That would be key. Yes, I think I know it. You know, I say a phrase that's dirty. And I was visiting, I will say it. It's not that by today's standards, you're like, that's dirty. But I was visiting Dom DeLuise, and who I was friends with. And he, I was much younger than him, just in case you're wondering. I met him towards the end of his life, and I would bake bread and bring bread to Dom DeLuise. But the first time I was there, he was doing something, and he just goes, hey, your mother's ass. And I go, oh, that's an expression from the Northeast, without a doubt. That felt like a Jersey, Boston type of section. Let's see this. Yes, you're welcome. Okay, sorry, Annabelle, I'm just skimming through. Doris had a recipe in every chapter in her book. Are you hungry, dear? The book cover said they were chosen from the many she collected over her life. One, she says, she made the night before she gave birth. Yeah, so, you know, Doris had a very, very full life, and she was married and had a son. So I'm sure I never talked to her about cooking. I'll have to ask Patty when I see Patty if they ever talked about cooking. But yeah, that's great. That's great. There's a lot of knowledge. Let me see this. Robert's date was Jeremy Stevens. I don't remember when he does. Yes. Hi, Ken. Goodbye. Okay. Yes. Ken was third base. Scrovan shortstop. Lou Schneider second base. Okay. Let me keep going here. Were Ray and Phil's mom ever in an episode? Yes, both of them were in an episode. Tom, do you have a favorite memory of working with the rest of the cast crew? Your sweater is the color of my alma mater, garnet and white for Phillipsburg High School. Garnet. I've never heard that color before in my life. Yes, Ellen from New York. Okay. Chris, I have to try a treat. Oh my gosh. Whoa, let me see this. So much stuff gonna fall here. Okay, here's the canister. I have to try this. There we go. My British friends were supposed to bring me all kinds of stuff. Here's what I have. The Christmas episodes, everybody. The only season we didn't have a Christmas episode was season 9 because we only did 16. So Jazz Records is an episode that I wrote. It was the last Christmas episode. We didn't know it was at the time. But all of the Christmas episodes were phenomenally fun to do because you had a complete Christmas set in November. So you got this early celebration of the holidays. And so it was delightful because you would shoot the Thanksgiving episode, then the Christmas episode. And I think, you know, as I post these, and folks, if you're sick of the Christmas episodes, I don't know what to say, but you're not sick of the show yet, so you probably shouldn't be. And I think for let me run through them if I can remember. The ball episode, okay, that was a big little inside scoop there when Raymond kissed Peter Boyle, Frank, on the head. He did not want to do it, and Phil Rosenthal convinced him to do it. And he said, just try it if you feel it. And he did it. And of course, it's the most tender moment of the show, of that episode. And that was kind of building of trust between Phil and Raymond. Season 2, All I Want for Christmas, that was a Steve Skrovan episode. I do remember Skro was talking to me. I had an idea for something, and he came over with a radio-controlled plane. I had this idea, and he goes, hey, are you going to use that for anything? And I said, no. He said, okay, I have an idea to put it in my episode. I was like, great, not knowing what it was going to be. And then, of course, it came out to be great with Raymond vacuuming and singing in the ghetto. So let's see. No, what is I can't remember them all in the order. I have to look at my binge thing that we made. The Christmas picture. The Christmas picture, the big debate is why didn't they just take 2 pictures? Okay, so here's what I'll say about that. 100% right. Perfect logic. Just, Marie, we're just going to take 2 pictures, one with my family and one without. But if you've ever dealt with passive-aggressive, stubborn people who you are forced to work with or live with or tolerate, it doesn't always go that way. So I'm surprised that people are like, just an easy solution, just take 2 pictures. I don't even understand it. It's silly. So I guess the people that are writing that, they're correct in the logic, but have you ever had a stubborn person, a controlling person who's going to punish you? Now, I remember asking my friend Mark. My friend Mark won a bunch of trips for the job he did. And he was separated. So he needed somebody who was single who could go on trips with him. And I said, and that was great. Like, let's go on this cruise. Let's go to Mexico. And eventually I was like, Mark, can't any of your other guy friends go, or a girl, doesn't matter. Can any of your guys' friends tag along? And he's like, yeah, all of my married friends can go. They 100% can go, Tom, but they will pay for it for the entire year. So, going back to the Christmas picture, we know that Marie is a torturous person, and we know that Deborah is resentful and angry of how she treats her. So the Christmas picture, that dilemma, absolutely. You know, what would have been nice if Raymond sent the Fruit of the Month Club and his mother said thanks. That would have been a much better scene. Just say thanks, give the fruit, have the fruit, just be grateful, Frank and Marie. But that's not real life, and that's not what happened in real life. Okay. The thought that counts, yes, that was Robert stepping up and Robert needing credit for coming up with the idea. We know that Robert had a little bit of a crush on Deborah, or at least couldn't see what she saw in his terrible brother Raymond. And I think we see that relationship a lot where people are like, he doesn't deserve her or she doesn't deserve him. She treats him terribly or he treats her terribly, etc. So that dynamic was really explored in that. And also, Raymond is not far from a lot of husbands who are, let's say, not attentive, etc. And so that was that. Let me see. What am I missing? Season's greetings, okay, about getting their own due and feeling that they're well represented in letters. And by the way, all of you know that you can't control what people say about you. And having a hit show is very helpful because the amount of people that hate Everybody Loves Raymond at the beginning, and I got this. This was funny. We didn't do an episode about this. I went back to a high school reunion, and someone in my high school wrote a letter about how bad Everybody Loves Raymond is and why he's annoying. All this, it was completely unsolicited. And I'm like, okay, you're entitled to write me an email about how terrible Raymond is. But once you have a hit show, then it's kind of like, okay, that's overwhelmed. All right, let's catch up. Let's catch up, folks, because we're going to go way too long. Family photos is one of the best. Yeah, sorry. Let me know what you guys think. 100%, without a doubt, 2 photos would have solved that problem. Photos of Deborah home. Yes, so beautiful. Oh, yeah, Doris's home. Absolutely. A Turner Classic Movie. I wonder who bought her home. Yes, I guess you could know that. And there was actually an auction. I met Dom DeLuise in Atlantic City. Very nice to talk to. So here, do I talk about Dom? I think next, remind me to talk about Dom DeLuise a little. Deservedly, it's a deserved story. Hi, Christmas toasters are my favorite episode. Ah, yes, the toaster episode. How could I leave that out? Based on real life, pretty much exactly how it happened in real life. Who came up with Frank Zakir? Holy crap. I believe as a teen, I said the phrase several years before the show started. Also, I'm Southerner and Cracker Barrel is not as good like it was years ago, but depends on the location. I rarely eat there. Yes. Hi, Tabitha. Yeah, I knew that people from the South would have an opinion about it. Wow. Talking nonstop. Favorite quote smug. Here we go. Okay. Holy crap is in question. There it is. Wow, is that one? Let me see. This one's warmer. By the way, we've had 5 days of rain, 10 days of rain. Crazy amount of rain here. Holy crap was, I believe, Phil Rosenthal said on record that he borrowed it from Norman Lear from All in the Family. So we will have to, that's in my memory, we'll have to ask Phil directly, or he might want to lawyer up. But yes, as far as I know, that is where he got it from, which would be in the before your time, maybe. In the picture, hi, Ellen. In the picture episode, it was such a funny Marie line regarding Amy not being in the picture. When you make her a Barone, she can be in the picture. Great line. Great manipulation by Marie. Let me see this. Hi, Kathy. I ordered the favorite quotes mug and the sled ornament this week. Can't wait to get it. Oh, great. Yes, let us know, Kathy, because that goes from the fantastic company Shopify. Those are awesome. Yes, I love my quotes mug. It makes me happy. Yes, Happy New Year. Okay, let me taste something. Here we go. What is this? I don't think we've seen this before, right? Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, this is more, oh boy. See, now. Okay, let's do this. Here we go, folks. Tasmanian mint. A Kit Kat dark Tasmanian mint. So where is this from? I know Kit Kat is Nestle, but does it say where this is from? We know where Tasmania is. If we've studied all of our geography and Bugs Bunny, we know where Tasmania is. Okay, let me see. Best before. Let's see if it's expired. Oh, does that even say that? Okay, so here we go, folks. For those that are new, Tom Caldabiano here. Every single week I try and taste something in honor of Jeremy Stevens, who was our writer from Brooklyn, who claimed that Hydrox was better than Oreos. And so we had a taste test. Wow, do I have an opening device? Yeah, boy, this is a good weight loss. I don't consider myself weak, but this... See, the problem is if I pull too hard, I get covered with Kit Kats. Let me see. What do I have? What do I have on this little recording studio area? This. Oh, look at that. Look at that for anybody. And I'm fighting a slight sore throat. Hence the etc. Semi. Yes, the business address. My my letter. Okay. Our P.O. box. Okay, hold on, folks. Be patient. Where is this Kit Kat from? Can somebody look that up while I'm trying to... This is really comical. Let me see, do I have... Never... By the way, this is a good weight loss program. Here's one of the teas I'm drinking. It's. I never knew about it. Is there an equivalent to this? Is there another one that's comparable to this? There we go. Does anybody know a comparable to this proprietary Twinings blend? Wow, I really can't open this. I mean, I can open it, but I don't want to break them also. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Is that a knife hanging up there? No. Okay, let me see. Let me look around, folks. There is everything you can imagine. Everything you can imagine is on this desk. Let's see, there's that. There's a padlock. There's this. What is this thing? That's, someday I have to show you the studio, everybody. Holy moly. Okay, hold on. Oh, I just broke a Kit. We know how a Kit Kat breaks. I really can't. I may have to leave the frame. Oh, wait, here. What is this? This might be my funniest segment. Okay, I'm going to stab it. Okay. Success, folks. But are they individually wrapped? That's the question. Because if they're not, then I'm going to get... No, they're not. Oh, wow. That's a unique looking... Okay, folks, look at this. What? That must be the mint portion. Okay, here we go. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Wow. Another pillar one. I'm a sucker for mint. I love mint. I'm going to give that an 8.5. That's high. Wow. Okay. That is really good. Let's see. Wow, that is really good. That is phenomenal. Okay, here we go. Thomas Gerard, bringing you up. I'm going to go, watch this. I'm going to eat this. Here we go. Here's a better, I'm asking a lot from a camera. Look how awesome that looks. Australian, okay. And where's Kit Kat based? Let's see. Here we go. Watch and learn, everybody. Wow. I'm apologizing. I was trying to read the label. I got lost in that. Thank you, everybody, for all that. Okay, final questions before we go. Really good. I will post my address, yes? Okay, thank you, Thomas. Chris, wafer thin covered in dark chocolate with, oh my gosh, this might be my new favorite. Mike Deanna, thank you for keeping the show non-topical. Loved it from season 1, by the way. Characters were immediately identifiable, as I have many friends and family members who were very similar. Yeah, so one of the things that we did on the show that Phil said is no current events. So if you guys, I don't know, I have a speculation. If you guys want to go somewhere for politics and sports and everything, there's other places besides the Everose Raymond page. When will your new backdrop be ready? So, sorry, as they say in a bar, I was overserved. When you're trying to say, you mean you drank too much? No, I was overserved. So I was overserved delicious Tasmanian Kit Kats with mint and dark chocolate. The set is, it's not a backdrop, it's a set. It's a complete set with all kinds of things. So we sat in it for Eric Pankowski, and we will be doing, wow, Donnell, thank you. That is really good. It's really good. Crafted with mint oil from the enchanting state of Tasmania and imported from Australia, where it's a huge hit. I hope you guys can find that somewhere, because it does probably come from down under. Okay, Donnell, let's bring that up. And I'm reading these out loud. Even though I'm bringing these up, a lot of people are just listening to me. The Kit Kat the Kit Kat chocolate bar originated in the United Kingdom. Created by Rowntree's in York and first launched in Rowntree's Chocolate Crisp in 1935. Later renamed Kit Kat in 1937. It's now a global brand owned by Nestle, except in the U.S., where Hershey makes it under license. Okay, did someone just say, Deb, did you say that? I'm going to bring that up. Nestle, yeah, there you go. Hershey and Nestle. Okay, there you go. So Nestle. Nestle is an hour from where you live. Lots of Kit Kat in the UK. I think we gave it to the world. So, Gil, that sounds like bragging, but it's actually just a fact, right? Wow, they are really good. Let me see. Well, okay, final things. Thank Tom. Fun as always. I am so happy reunion shows had such great ratings. Camille, survey restores my faith in people. LOL. Have a great weekend, everybody. Yes. So that is the final thing I'll say. The fact that there's such high ratings, somebody said, doesn't this tell the networks, et cetera, that people want this type of entertainment? Yes, but it's very hard to make wholesome family entertainment, and it's not necessarily what the people in power think that the people want. But yes, the highest rated special of the entire year proved how popular Everybody's Raymond is with you people, with everybody. It was a really good sign. All right, get yourself a Kit Kat Tasmanian Devil Dark Tasmanian Mint. It's practically health food. Oh, wow, piece fell out. What will I do with this piece that fell out? Let me think about what to do. It's a beautiful candy, as I said. Now there's chocolate all over the keyboard. These are some of the dangers of when you taste chocolate live. All right, have a good week, everybody. We will talk. I'm going to post a lot more pictures of the how they got the bra on Raymond's back. There was, you'll see in the photos, I don't believe it was Velcro. I think it was hooked on, but not with Velcro. All right. To be continued next week. Have a good week. Happy New Year, everybody. Until then, be safe.